So, Gears of War Reloaded, could it be dead on arrival? Does this game have enough to sustain itself in 2025, right? Gears of War Reloaded is being introduced to a whole new demographic of people, being the folks over on PlayStation, right? And this game going officially crossplay on every platform imaginable besides mobile. Okay, this is a new endeavor for the Gears of War franchise as a whole, and personally I am very, very, very excited for this game to unleash to the world and people get to check it out for what it is, right? I am a Gears of War veteran. I have played every Gears of War there is to play besides Tactics. Maybe probably didn't play Tactics, but I am very passionate about Gears of War, and just to know the potential of how some content creators and community people are seeing this game as a high potential to be dead on arrival. Could that be factual? Could that be something that we inevitably face with Gears of War Reloaded? And personally, I'm going to be very honest with you. I don't think so. Okay. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure that you give it a big like. And if you enjoy content such as this, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'll be covering Gears of War leading all the way up to E-Day. Okay. I'm committed. I'm very excited for Gears, but I like to have discussions with other community members. Gears dead on arrival. Let's see what's going on. Shout out to Extra Father here. He actually titled his video, How to Keep Gears of War Reloaded Alive. Okay, I'm going to give my feedback, my honest feedback on his content and see what this young man point of view is and see where his argument is stemming from, and we'll have a conversation. I also need you guys down in the comment section below to let me know what you think and if you agree or disagree with some of the feedback both him and I are providing about Gears of War Reloaded. So without further ado, let's get it.
So let's be honest about where we are right now. Gears of War Reloaded is on the way, and this is a game that's being handed to an entirely new audience. After years of silence, after all the rumors, after all the hope, this is the Gears game that's going to be the very first impression for people on PlayStation. This is the game they're getting. Not E-Day, not something new, they're getting a remaster. And if that sounds underwhelming to you, then you're not alone. Because there's something that's been bothering me since this announcement, and it's been growing.
Keep that in mind, folks. It's a remaster, not a remake. People get that wrong. I have heard remake. It's not a remake, guys. This is a remaster. Okay. This is basically Gears of War Ultimate Edition, just spec'd up with a higher refresh rate for gamers. Okay. So keep that in mind, guys. So yeah, no remake. It's just a remaster.
Louder and louder the more I think about it. What is there in this remaster to actually keep people playing? And I'm not talking about us, the diehard fans who played Gears 1, 2, 3, and Judgment back to back. I'm talking about them, the players on PlayStation and Steam who are going to boot up this franchise out of curiosity.
Okay.
Maybe they heard the name before. Maybe they saw the E-Day trailer and said, hey, that looks pretty damn cool. Maybe they're fans of third-person action and want to see where it all started. But here's the problem.
That could be.
As it stands right now, Reloaded is just a campaign and PvP. And that's not going to cut it. Because those two pillars alone, while legendary in their time, aren't enough to support an ecosystem in 2025. We're in a gaming landscape now where people expect more. They expect to be onboarded. They expect to be with friends. And if you're not immediately sucked in by either the story or the brutality of ranked multiplayer, there's a really good chance they'll just uninstall and move on to the next free-to-play flavor of the week.
Okay, I don't agree with that here. It sounds like I should say Extra Father, excuse me. It sounds like he wants a live gaming service here for Gears of War. I know Horde mode could be maintained itself, right, outside of like a live service gaming premise, but I feel as though that would be incorrect here. Leaning into a service outside of what Gears of War has to offer for the campaign or the PvP aspect, I feel like that suffices, to be honest with you. I played Gears of War for years with just those two aspects of the game. The campaign and the multiplayer. I had no problem at all. Just staying in the Gears of War ecosystem and just enjoying the fuck out of myself. A lot of people are going to be introduced to this title and really enjoyed themselves. A lot of folks that I have in my community actually tried out the game and actually thoroughly enjoyed it. And this is on the PlayStation side. So shout out to my people. If you know, you know. I should say we had a blast playing the Gears of War beta, and these guys couldn't get enough of it. Neither could I, honestly, honest to God. Do I feel like that should sustain us here for Gears of War Reloaded? I think potentially so. I don't really like live service gaming, and not that my man Extra is saying that he's looking for live service, but he's looking for a deeper experience via Horde mode. I don't know. Horde mode is fucking great. It's amazing. And I have played it in the past. That wasn't the lasting appeal for Abel Green. I just enjoyed the PvP ranked. I just love it. And I was not a wall bouncer by no means. Like, I would just straight up gun you down. I didn't need to do all the wall bouncing shit, but that's just me. And it held me over. And I think personally, it would suffice here. I don't see that we per se need a Horde mode. Maybe you guys feel different at home. Let me know down in the comment section. But I don't think Horde mode makes or breaks this Gears of War experience. It's just going to come down to player reception and optimization of what Gears of War Reloaded is as a product overall. But let me let him continue. Let's get back to it.
Now, I'm not saying this to be harsh. I'm saying it because this is exactly what happened to Gears of War Ultimate Edition, and that was with a dedicated fan base. We've seen this story play out before. So what's the solution? Well, we need something that brings in new players. Something that gives them room to breathe. Something that doesn't throw them into sweaty lobbies where they're immediately getting one-shotted by players who've been wall bouncing since the Bush administration. We need a PvE mode. And I know what you're thinking. Well, it's just a remaster. What do you expect? But that's the point. It's just a remaster. They're not redoing the level design. They're not building new multiplayer systems from scratch.
That's true.
They're literally just polishing what's already there. Higher frame rates, better resolution, slightly updated visuals. That's it. So if we're keeping the foundation intact, then why not add something that lets this game have legs?
Now, he's right there. I do agree with that. I feel as though that having Horde mode in addition to the experience of the campaign and the PvP, having that PvE element baked within the game at launch, that would be amazing. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen, but that would be amazing. And I don't see nothing wrong with that. I honest to God don't see nothing wrong with that. I don't think that's the saving grace for this game, because you're either going to love or hate Gears. It just is what it is. But I feel personally the game is still going to thrive to some degree because the story was phenomenal and the gameplay is excellent. Okay. And we're having everything up to date with crossplay enabled. People could game on PC, PlayStation, or Xbox, heck, all of them together. Listen, man, we're in different times. And finally, we have a product that actually facilitates the Gears experience in its true form. If you guys remember Ultimate Edition, oh my fucking God. Ultimate Edition was a hot mess. It didn't have crossplay. People think that we've been here, done that with Ultimate Edition. Ultimate Edition was in a test pool of old school players that just played there. And then the PC side of players that actually wanted to play it, which was me at the time, had a terrible experience. There was no crossplay. There was nothing. It was just terrible. You had to verse the PC people. If you could find a lobby, it was just atrocious. Then a lot of people just counted Ultimate Edition, including myself, as a failure. And the game kind of played odd in the beginning of its life cycle. It did not play well. So that kind of got written off as a dud. And people just forget that. They act like Ultimate Edition had the fair shake. And it, honest to God, didn't. Okay, I've seen it both on the console side of things and on the PC side of things. Ultimate Edition did not have the fair shake. Now, this time, however, my friends, we're on to something. We might be cooking with gas here. We got to see, but we could be on to something. Let's get back to it.
Something that honors the original tone, but also fits modern expectations. And let me just pause here to remind you of something that blows my mind every time I think about it. Back in 2006, Epic Games managed to implement Gears of War's multiplayer in just 2 weeks.
That's actually
2
amazing.
Weeks.
That's amazing.
Let that sink in.
I did not know that.
Developing on new hardware, building new systems, and still found a way to ship multiplayer within 2 weeks of actual implementation. It wasn't perfect, but it worked. People played it. They talked about it. They got hooked. And here we are almost 2 decades later, still singing the praises of Gears of War because of how well that original formula worked. So if Epic could get that up and running back then, in that little time, you're telling me the Coalition couldn't create a small, self-contained PvE mode that uses existing campaign assets and enemy behaviors to give newcomers something to hold on to? Come on, man. We know it's possible.
I mean, he's definitely right. It is possible, but we don't know how much of an undertaking that is. We truly don't know. There might be more to it than that, okay? It's amazing to hear that the Gears of War multiplayer was done in 2 weeks, within 2 weeks of launch. That's fucking amazing for as amazing as the game was back then. I mean, that's actually pretty historical to hear. That's really dope. That's actually really amazing. Shout out to the OG Gears of War team. You guys did a phenomenal job with the title. But yeah, I don't know. I think that there's more to it when programming that experience. I don't think it's that easy just to plop a Horde mode in Gears of War Reloaded and not have the systems in place and things calculating correctly and achievements and different things like that. I believe there's a little more to it, but who knows?
It doesn't have to be this massive new feature either. We're not asking for a Horde 5.0 or a full-blown Beast Mode sequel, although that would be pretty damn amazing. All we're asking for is something where 2 or 3 friends can hop into a match, shoot some locusts, get used to the way the game feels, and learn what Gears is actually about before they get thrown into the crucible of PvP. And look,
I feel him there.
Idea out of nowhere. This is coming from my own experience too, because my first real intro to the Gears of War series, it wasn't the campaign, it wasn't multiplayer, it was Horde mode in Gears of War 2. That was the mode that hooked me. That was the mode that taught me what this world was, how these weapons felt, and why the Gears universe had a different kind of weight to it than any other shooter I'd played.
See, he's talking that from that true perspective of his experience. Like, we really got to respect that. He's talking from a angle of this is how he was introduced to Gears. He was introduced to Gears via Horde mode. That wasn't my introduction. It was campaign and multiplayer. I didn't really hop into anything Horde mode, right? I didn't come in around Gears of War 2. Okay, I was an OG player. So, yeah, I respect his point of view, but I think he's viewing it just from his story, his perspective. I viewed it from the genesis of how it was just multiplayer and fucking campaign, right? And I don't know. He's staying true to his story. I respect it.
At the time. And that's what a good PvE experience can do. It can ease you in. It can teach you without tutorials. It can make you feel the stakes. I wouldn't be here talking about this franchise all these years later if Horde hadn't existed. And I know I'm not alone in that either. Other Gears creators are saying the exact same thing. I've seen the discussions, I've watched the videos. We all see the writing on the wall. If Reloaded drops with nothing but campaign and versus, it's going to have a spike in players, and then a fast, hard drop-off. Because people aren't going to stay for campaign alone.
I don't agree with that. I think this Gears of War finally having crossplay and being introduced to PlayStation, I don't think it's going to have a significant drop off like super fast. It's going to be interesting. It's definitely going to be a learning lesson, but I think we're in for something substantial. I think people are going to be around in Gears having fun for a quite long time leading up to E-Day. I think we're actually going to be okay.
And most won't stick around long enough to learn PvP unless they already understand how Gears works. We need a pressure valve, something low stakes, something immersive, atmospheric, and brutally satisfying, but forgiving enough to help people learn the flow. And you know what would be perfect for that? Using the existing Locust enemies from the campaign. You already have drones, wretches, boomers, and snipers behaving in specific ways. Add a basic AI pathing system, create escalating waves or missions, drop players into known maps like Mansion or Gridlock, and let them survive against increasingly tough squads. You don't even have to call it Horde. Call it something like Horde Elite, Survivor, or Resistance, or something thematic that fits the timeline of Gears 1. You're not building new enemies. You're reusing what's already there. That's smart. That's efficient. That's how you make a remaster feel alive without blowing up the dev timeline. Because right now, Reloaded feels more like a museum piece, a tribute, which is fine if that's all you want it to be. But if the Coalition wants to bring in new blood and actually retain those players instead of having them disappear a week after launch, then we need to give them something more than nostalgia. We need to give them a reason to stay. And PvE is that reason.
And to be honest with you, let's not go too crazy with this. Like, let's be very real about this. We have Gears of War E-Day coming up, right? I'm very excited, and I know many of you at home are excited as well. But let's be very real about this. We don't need to go all balls to the wall for Gears of War Reloaded. We don't have to. It's just not necessary. We got the team cooking on the back end for Gears of War E-Day, and I know that experience is going to bring forth a lot of new things to the Gears of War franchise, along with intact old pieces of the franchise's legacy as well. And I think that's where we see the crossroads and everything materialize into something special. There's nothing wrong with what Extra is saying here at all. There's nothing wrong with it, but I feel as though that would be a lot to do at this current moment, at this state in time for the game. I think that Gears of War Reloaded could suffice just being a solid multiplayer and campaign experience. And that's honest to God all I personally will want from it. I'm having fun on the competitive level. It's just a fun game to play with my friends. And even though he's talking about a lot of sweaty players, it's not that sweaty to me. It's just fun. Like, if you could just have a team that could cooperate and do call outs and get things done together as a unit, as a team, and that actually are competent in some way, shape, or form, and competency goes a long way, you'll find success in Gears of War. I don't feel like it needs to be extra or needs a horde mode inherently to do well.
It's not just about gameplay, it's about respect. It shows that the devs understand that Gears is more than just 4v4 execution on canals. It's a world.
And I'm sure they know that. I'm sure they know that.
Underground bunkers and terrifying creatures that lurk in the dark. Give new players a chance to experience that. Give them a taste of what this franchise is really capable of. Because if we don't, if this thing drops with just shiny graphics and nothing to do beyond campaign and sweaty ranked matches, then this game is going to get buried. No matter how beautiful the remaster is, the moment will pass, and we might not get another shot like this. So yeah, that's where I'm at with it. I want Reloaded to succeed, I really do, and I think it can, but only if we treat this launch like the opportunity it is.
Okay, so I'm just gonna cut it there for him. So I see where he's leaning at ultimately with everything. The opportunity for Gears to return to form and be something that's thriving is E-Day, period. It's E-Day, period. I see where my man's coming from, but I do not want to lean on Gears of War Reloaded alone solely, especially in this climate of gaming. Do you see the games that we have coming out? Gears of War is going to get swallowed to some degree by these other games that are going to release. Both single player and multiplayer for this year is phenomenal. Matter of fact, I think this might be the best year in gaming, both on the multiplayer front and the single player front that we had in quite some time. Both of them coming together just to be the 1-2 punch for this holiday season. So Gears of War is facing a lot of competition, but I feel as though that it's going to do just enough to keep a player base going and introduce and onboard a lot of people that have been curious about Gears of War, okay? And then finally getting that taste of it on another console, another platform, and then also being able to game with their friends via crossplay multiplayer. I think that's going to do very well for the title on that front. And let's be honest, the $40 price tag is something affordable that everybody could swing for the most part, right? Lord willing, right? So I think that Gears of War Reloaded is going to be okay. Dead on arrival? Don't think so. Don't think so. But there's a lot of content creators that feel otherwise if Gears of War Reloaded doesn't have X, Y, or Z. But I think that's incorrect. But let me know what you guys think. If you have not checked out my last Gears of War video, it was a banger. Be sure to click here and I'll be sure to see you there.